everyone, it's Tomatoda. So there are many different ways to recycle your scrap clay, but in this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how I recycled mine into these cute dittos by making a ditto cane and using lavender clay. As you can see, I have a shit ton of scrap clay from my previous canes. For the ditto cane, I'm using FIMO Professional in lavender and modeling that into a thick circular shape. It's kind of dirty, so I'm using a disinfectant wipe to rub all the gunk off first. Now I'm using a tool to figure out where I want the face placement to be, which, as you can see, took me a few tries. I'll be starting on the mouth first, so I'm going to cut where the two edges of the mouth are, or where the two corners of the mouth are, and then I cut out the rest of the mouth shape. After pulling my black brownish clay through the pasta machine, I'm going to cut it to the appropriate size. And this part is just my personal preference, but I'm smoothing out the corners of the mouth because I don't want a harsh edge. I want a rounded edge. In order to keep it round, I also have to wrap it around a thin sheet of lavender like so. Unfortunately, as you can see here, the mouth isn't curved enough, so I'm using an oval cutter to make a deeper curve. And this is like good enough, but as you can see, the mouth is slightly elevated from the edge of the semicircle, so I'm going to fill it in with clay because I have to cut straight across later. Anyways, I don't know if that explanation made sense. But hopefully, if you keep watching the video right now, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. So filling in all the gaps and then cutting straight across. Okay, after attaching the top half of the face, it's time to work on the eyes. I'm using an appropriate sized drill bit to make holes for the eyes. Then I roll the black clay and shove it into the hole. Sometimes it doesn't go all the way through because the clay is just too soft and sticky, but you can either try to stiffen it up by putting it in the freezer, or you can be lazy like me and just shove in as much as possible, then shove more clay through the other side. Now the key point is to pack it in so you don't have any air holes trapped. After that, cut your chunk of clay into a nice circle. I'm using this round thing as a guide, and make sure that the backside is also in a circular shape. Time to reduce. Now this isn't as small as I want my cane to be, but I'm just checking the progress. So far so good. I'm gonna continue to reduce until it's the size I want it to be, and here I cut it in half so I can reduce one of the half even smaller. Different sized faces for different sized dittos. Now, bringing back the scrap clays, I'm gonna condition them and roll them into balls. Yum! Here, I'm using a thin sheet of lavender and wrapping the balls with them. Make sure that there's no air trapped inside or in between the layers. And voila! The dittos are magically finished! LOL JK. Taking my lavender wrap balls, I'm going to shape it into a general ditto shape, which is basically two arm lumps and a head lump. So the body doesn't have to be that defined just yet because the details will be added after the face is attached. And this dent is the top of the ditto's head. Now taking one of the appropriate sized ditto canes, I'm cutting a very, very thin slice. And this slice will be attached to the body. Here you can see I'm blending out the edges. It's going to take a bit of work. I'm also pushing the face into the body a little bit throughout the whole blending process, so it's not lumpy like a mask. Don't push too aggressively because you don't want the facial features to warp, but just enough that the face isn't sticking out, if that makes sense. Anyways, once it's somewhat blended, I can start to define the shape of the ditto's body. And during this process, the edges of the cane face will blend even more because, you know, I'm like handling the clay around and it gets warm and shit like that. Making indents for Ditto's feet, if those are feet. Defining the head lump. And it's coming along pretty nicely. Ta-da! Ditto is almost finished. After the shape is finished to your liking, bake it according to your clay instructions, and afterwards we can start to clean it up. So this little fella here has a bunch of crap on him. I'm going to use acetone with a Q-tip to clean it all off. You know, just rubbing one out. Some pieces of dust are harder to get out because they're actually embedded into the clay. If this bothers you, you can try to tweeze it out. Whatever you decide to do with the Ditto after this point is up to you. I made mostly charms, but I also experimented with other ideas which I stole from this picture here. And as you can tell, I coated mine with UV resin and glitter to give it that nice Ditto shine. Or maybe it's supposed to be slime. I don't know, do you guys think Ditto is supposed to be shiny or just slimy? Anyways, I think these Dittos are super cute, and I'm happy that my scrap clay pile shrunk, you know, just a bit. My reducing skills aren't the best, so I just accumulate so much. I hope you guys found this tutorial to be useful, and thank you all for watching. Bye bye!